Chapter 71 Offline Meeting starts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, old man, that guy doesn't care about me at all. He blocked me directly. What should I do? After Mia left the bar and returned to her residence, she took out an old-fashioned keypad phone and made a call. There was silence on the other end of the phone for a full 5 seconds before a hoarse voice rang out. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. The Dawn Guild will hold an offline dinner at the Phoenix Mountain Resort outside Scorching City. At that time, all the top players in the game will be invited to attend. If nothing unexpected happens, Yunchen will also be there. Then it will be a good opportunity to take action. Hearing this, Mia narrowed her eyes, and her pretty face became solemn. Kill them all. At the other end of the phone responded, according to the plan, Yunchen is left alive. But since this kid doesn't know what's good for him, let's kill him together. After the matter is done, someone will pick you up from Scorching City and take you to the border of Dragon Country. As long as you leave the border, everything will be fine. Mia whispered, got it. The next second, click. The seemingly fragile blonde beauty squeezed the confidential mobile phone made of special metal and crushed it. She was also a very powerful extraordinary player. The next day, Yunchen rarely left home. This time, he was going on a long journey. There were still 2 days before the arrival of the demonic disaster, and today was the offline meeting held by the Dawn Guild. Yunchen walked on the street and saw billboards about shelter for all. Young people gathered in groups of 2 or 3, holding their mobile phones, and also played this game there. Even middle-aged people were playing. What surprised Yunchen was, he also saw a woman jumping between high-rise buildings, like Spider-Man. This was obviously a player who had exceeded level 30 in the game and gained extraordinary powers. Excuse me, is this Mr. Yunchen? Please come this way. The Dragon Country official was obviously well prepared. The moment Yunchen stepped into the airport, a special staff member came forward to greet and lead the way. Then, Yunchen came to the VIP lounge. It is worth mentioning that when Yunchen came here, he found that there were already several people with extraordinary aura sitting inside, a huge, muscular, square-faced strong man, a girl holding her doll and dressed very gothic. A thin man with a pointed chin exuding a cold aura, another. One is Li Manny, as the vice president of the Dawn Guild and the official representative of Dragon Country. Li Manny must come forward to contact these players with extraordinary powers and lead the way for them. Hey, brother Yunchen, I haven't seen you for a few days, and you have become more handsome again. Li Manny came to Yunchen with a smile. Yunchen smiled and nodded, saying hello, Sister Manny is the same. I haven't seen you for a few days, and you have become more and more beautiful. This is the truth, because Li Manny had not reached level 30 before and had not obtained extraordinary powers. Now that her level has been raised to above level 30, her body has been cleansed by extraordinary powers. Not only has her skin become better, but her entire body has become extremely healthy. She naturally looks much more beautiful than before. When the 3 extraordinary players around heard Li Manny call the young man in front of her brother Yunchen, they were shocked. Then several eyes were cast towards Yunchen. They were not unfamiliar with the name Yunchen. It can even be said that it is like thunder in their ears. After all, in the game, this guy has been congratulated by the whole server and won many firsts. The first player to upgrade the shelter to level 5 and level 15, the first player to upgrade the level to level 30. The first player to complete the first kill of the world boss Dark Warrior. At the same time, he is still ranked first on the level list. I didn't expect that such a famous boss Yunchen would settle in such a small city like them. Introduce them. This big guy is called Wang Jiangwo, a level 36 barrier warrior. This girl is called Xia Mei, a level 36 holy light priest. And this gentleman is called Zhang Tian, a level 37 swordsman. The 3 of them are also invited to go to Scorching City to attend the offline dinner. Li Manny also acted as a matchmaker, introducing the information of these people to Yunchen. As for this guy. Ha! Ms. Li, you don't need to introduce this guy, we know each other well. The big guy Wang Jiangwo smiled generously, stretched out his hand to Yunchen, and said politely, I didn't expect the legendary Yunchen to be so young, I'm sorry. Yunchen shook hands with him and said politely, just call me Yunchen. no need to add the word big brother. The Gothic girl named Xia Mei stared at Yunchen seriously with a pair of light pink pupils, and then asked very straightforwardly, Big brother Yunchen, can I ask you a question? Yunchen nodded, just ask. How did you kill the dark warrior alone? Xia Mei said this, swish. The other three also stared at Yunchen. In fact, they were also very curious about this matter. I didn't expect that this Gothic girl would ask a very straightforward question. It's a secret. Yunchen smiled. Several people were a little disappointed with this answer, but they could understand it. Who hasn't ordered a secret yet? Not to mention that this may involve Yunchen's own trump card. What follows is some small talk about the game. 3 hours later, Yunchen and his party successfully arrived at Fengtian City. There are also staff waiting there in advance to pick you up, then use a special car to pick up the single-family villas at Phoenix Mountain Resort, in order to organize this offline meeting. Dawn Guild also spent a lot of money and contracted the entire Phoenix Mountain Resort. 7:30 p.m. The much-anticipated grand dinner finally officially started. There was no live broadcast of this dinner, and no reporters filmed it. It is a purely private evening party. Also, the perimeter of Phoenix Mountain has been guarded by the extraordinary team of Dawn Guild, and any strangers are strictly prohibited from entering. Once discovered, these guards with extraordinary powers will arrest the criminals and punish them severely. All the extraordinary players who were invited put on formal attire, dressed very formally and solemnly, and walked slowly into the venue. Just less than 5 minutes, many figures were welcomed into the hall of this luxuriously decorated and splendid villa. Some people who were used to being casual were a little uncomfortable suddenly coming to such a formal and luxurious occasion. After all, some of the extraordinary players here are ordinary people with ordinary backgrounds. It is the extraordinary power given by the game National Shelter that makes them qualified to step here. It can be said that this game is the basis for many ordinary people to change their lives against the odds. Chapter 72, Debut. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Although they are a little unaccustomed to it, these extraordinary players who changed their fate against the odds are very excited inside, looking at the luxurious surroundings and the children of aristocratic families with refined temperaments and dignified manners. I thought to myself that I am finally qualified to be on the same level as them. However, in the eyes of those children from aristocratic families with extraordinary backgrounds, these poor-legged players who changed their lives against the odds are still unattainable beings. The game is still in its early stages, so it seems like everyone is on the same level. But wait another month, and these big families with extraordinary backgrounds will have the impact of their own heritage. You can think of these families as sex and immortality novels, even if you are a casual cultivator with good qualifications. You are still unable to compete with this sect with profound knowledge and extraordinary background. When those wild cultivators meet the sect's saintly son or saintly girl, they can kill you with just their magic weapons and props. This is the gap. Certainly, if you are a genius cultivator who is extremely powerful, you should be qualified to be looked upon by these sect saints and saints. Just like Yunchen at the moment, even before all the guests at the banquet had arrived, discussions about Yunchen were already taking place in various small and large circles that were gathered together in 2s and 3s. No way, this guy is so special. Especially in the battle against the world boss not long ago, when all the players were not optimistic, I really completed the first kill of the world boss by myself. How strong does this have to be? Look! Lu Hu from the Lu family is here. That is, under this reminder, many extraordinary professionals were holding wine glasses and turned to look at the door. I saw Lu Hu, who was tall and full of power, stepping into this place with a beautiful blonde female companion. Huh! The female companion next to Lu Hu is. You don't know her. She's a social butterfly recognized in the forum. Her name is Mia. She's a mixed race. I didn't expect that Lu Hu would get her. Ah, I remember that Mia is a foreigner, right? Can she be invited here? The official probably agreed for the sake of the Lu family. The main reason is that this dinner will not involve any important confidential information. Lu Hu walked in with his head held high, and took his female companion with him to communicate with other children from aristocratic families. Last night he suddenly received a message from Mia, the beautiful mixed-race woman who had rejected him many times unexpectedly took the initiative to chat with him privately, and she only put forward one condition, that is, if she can be invited to participate in this offline meeting, then she is willing to spend the night with Lu Hu. What makes Lu Hu even more excited is, the other party also claimed that this was his first time. Lu Hu is good at this, so I agreed. Zhao Yuan is here too. After Lu Hu, Zhao Yuan also came. However, Zhao Yuan also has a beautiful mixed-race beauty as his female companion, named Avril. Lu Hu and Zhao Yuan looked at each other and smiled, both showing smiles that only men could understand. By the way, isn't Boss Yunchen here yet? Not knowing who it was, he suddenly asked. The various circles that were talking to each other fell silent for a moment. Then, the eyes of many children from aristocratic families revealed a very unkind and piercing light. For this Yunchen, he did not gain much favor among the children of aristocratic families. The reason is simple: the other party is too arrogant, and their style of doing things makes them dislike it. If nothing else, Lu Hu's cousin Lu Gao was ridiculed for a long time in the game because he was instantly killed by Yun Chen with one move. Now Lu Gao accompanied his cousin here with the fundamental purpose of avenging his past. He wanted to see how arrogant he could be when this Yun Chen came to reality and faced so many extraordinary professionals. Not to mention, Zhang Chen, Chen Lilong, Zhao Ru, more than 20 players were picked up by Yun Chen. It can be said that I hate Yun Chen so much that my teeth itch. Humph. He's just a lowly mud-legged guy with a little luck. Just take advantage of the game's development period to be arrogant for a while. In another month, let's see if he still dares to be arrogant in front of us. A young master from an aristocratic family named Li Shuang sneered. This sentence actually attracted the echo of many children from aristocratic families. Not bad. Let him be arrogant for a month first. And the mud-legged people around you, I advise you not to get too close to Yun Chen. Otherwise. The threat is obvious. Directly warn these guys not to get too close to Yun Chen, otherwise they will bully you too. Some players who were originally looking excited suddenly lost their smiles when they were threatened by the children of these aristocratic families. Wow! Lu Chaoga is here. Fortunately, at this time, an exclamation sounded. Then they saw Lu Chaoga, who was wearing an ice blue dress and exuding a noble aura, slowly walking into the hall of the villa with elegant steps. When Lu Chaoga stepped here, he didn't know if it was everyone's misunderstanding, but he felt that the hall became brighter and more radiant. It seems that because of Lu Chaoga's arrival, the nobility here has been raised to a higher level. This aloof female CEO, who is alluring the country, is like a proud swan. She is bright and attractive, but at the same time, people dare not approach her. Even young men like Lu Hu and Zhao Yuan, who have seen countless things in the world, could not help but be stunned when they saw it. In such a comparison, the mixed-race beauties beside them were completely crushed. The female players around them also looked at Lu Chaoga with envy and longing, and had already regarded Lu Chaoga as their idol. Of course, more of them were jealous, and what made them feel even more broken was, the lively girl who jumped in behind Lu Chaoga was not inferior to Lu Chaoga in appearance. Shenling Shuang. She was also a beauty of the level of a disaster to the country and the people. It is said that this girl has fascinated countless boys in Fengtian University. Following closely behind her were the members of the Kanglin ZY team, Chu He, Dong Chang, Zhao Lanue, Ho Ping, Li Qian. As for Tang Jizhong, this old guy with poor game skills has been eliminated by Lu Chaoga. The current Kanglin ZY team is very famous and is considered the top adventure team in the Dragon Country server. For this team, even the children of aristocratic families dare not underestimate it, because Lu Chaoga said that in the future, she will devote all the power of the Lu family to cultivate a top-level team. Being able to join Lu Chaoga's team is enough to show that the other party's skills, abilities, and character have been recognized, and with the support of Lu Chaoga, the captain, who dares to look down. Facing so many scrutiny, Lu Chaoga's pretty face with a cold character remained calm. Without any fluctuations, she began to turn her head and look around. She seems to be looking for someone. Who is she looking for? Everyone was puzzled. Chapter 73. How could a peasant like him have such ability? You are listening at novelfull.audio. But no matter who Lu Chaoga was looking for, he couldn't stop these young men from aristocratic families from approaching him. At this moment, there were several well-dressed, handsome, and charming young men from aristocratic families who took their own confident steps. These young men from aristocratic families all took steps when they saw each other, and looked at each other, but they were not surprised at all. They still maintained a noble, cold and arrogant demeanor and walked towards Lu Chaoga. The two heavyweight players Zhao Yuan and Lu Hu didn't make it. People are self-aware. Besides, do you think these young men from aristocratic families can successfully invite Lu Chaoga as their dance partner? That must be a failure. After all, the lessons learned from the past are there. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone knows Lu Chaoga's character very well. After attending various banquets, I never saw her dancing with any man. It's not that Lu Chaoga doesn't like men, but that no man can be worthy of her. This extremely outstanding woman is like a lonely swan, always waiting for a man worthy of her to appear, at the moment. Everyone shook their heads when they saw these young men from aristocratic families stepping forward carelessly. In addition, these young men from aristocratic families already know the outcome in their hearts, but what can be done? The family's orders required them to find a way to gain Lu Chaoga's favor. Of course, the main reason is that Lu Chaoga is also very good-looking and they are willing to try to pursue him, seeing that these young men from aristocratic families were about to come to Lu Chaoga. But at this moment, an accident happened. Lu Chaoga, who was calmly looking around, suddenly saw a pair of beautiful red phoenix eyes with a strange color, and his cold and pretty face melted like spring snow and became gentle. Before the people around me figured out what was going on, Lu Chaoga had already twisted up the hem of her skirt. When she turned around, the ice-blue crystal dress bloomed like a flower. She immediately twisted up the hem of her skirt and walked towards a corner with a lot of steps. She came to a young man with a slender figure and a handsome face. Under the extremely shocked eyes of everyone, she stretched out her white jade hands. At the same time, a gentle voice that everyone present had never heard before came out from Lu Chaoga's red lips. "This handsome man, I don't think you would put a lady into an embarrassing situation, right? That during a dinner party with the nature of a dance party, when a man reaches out to a woman, he means to invite her to become his partner and dance with him. The same goes for a woman extending her hand to a man, only." Now all the extraordinary players in the audience were staring at this scene in shock, their eyes full of shock and disbelief. The young men from aristocratic families who wanted to invite Lu Chaoga to be their dance partners, as well as Lu Hu, Zhao Yuan and others, stiffened and their eyes almost stared out at this moment. Not only because it was the first time I saw Lu Chaoga actively inviting a man to be his dance partner, but also because this man was Yun Chen. Maybe those extraordinary players with no background don't know Yun Chen, but for these children of aristocratic families with backgrounds, they have already mobilized their personal connections and found out personal information and photos about Yun Chen, but don't say that. When the other female players present saw Yun Chen, their hearts skipped a beat. Handsome features, cold eyes as deep as stars, and that slender figure that looks like the golden ratio, paired with aloof and indifferent temperament. Oh my God! So handsome. More prince than prince. If they hadn't known Yun Chen's identity and background in advance, these female players might have thought that a prince from some country was present in person. Such a young man, standing together with Lu Chaoga, the proud daughter of heaven, turned out to be such a perfect match. But it is precisely because of this that the young masters from the aristocratic families present are furious. Especially Zhao Yuan and Lu Hu. If looks could kill, the looks in their eyes could kill Yun Chen 10,000 times now. Why? He's a jerk. How can you be so virtuous? Just because he looks more handsome. As for Yun Chen, his heart was full of helplessness. He had entered the venue late on purpose. When entering the venue, he walked directly to the corner in a very low-key manner. Unexpectedly, Lu Chaoga's beautiful eyes were still so sharp, and he caught Yun Chen at a glance, and even came over in a high-profile way to invite Yun Chen to be her dance partner. Regarding the scene in front of him, Yun Chen was slightly in a daze. Because in the previous life, after saving Lu Chaoga's life, he was also invited to a dinner party. Then, just like this, Lu Chaoga took the initiative to invite himself to be her dance partner. At that time, because of this reason, I became a thorn in the side of many people. I just didn't expect that this scene would actually happen in advance in my new life. Now, Lu Chaoga's white jade hands had been hanging for 4 or 5 seconds. Others may not believe it. At this moment, this proud woman who was as proud as a swan was very nervous inside, fearing that The other party would reject her invitation. Not only was this embarrassing, but she also felt a little sad. After all, this was the first time she invited someone of the opposite sex to be her dance partner. Fortunately, Yun Chen was not such a person who did not understand romance. He gently held Lu Chaoga's jade hand and did not let this arrogant female president lose face. Li Mani and Shenling Shuang on the side saw this and walked over with a smile. Shenling Shuang put her hands on her waist and looked at Yun Chen, saying very proudly, "I didn't expect you to be quite handsome in real life. Since you are a handsome guy, I will not pursue you for blocking me before." Yun Chen pulled the corner of his mouth and was too lazy to answer. He was also very troubled by Shenling Shuang, a girl with a hidden devilish personality in his previous life. Li Mani walked to the side and said with a smile, "It's strange. I didn't expect that Brother Yun Chen would be favored by the most beautiful woman in Fengtian City without making any noise. Sister Mani, don't tease me. Miss Lu should just use me as a shield." Yun Chen shook his head and smiled. Shenling Shuang on the side rolled her eyes when she heard this. "I thought, if my cousin wants to reject someone's approach, does she need a shield? Lu Chaoga has always been very straightforward in rejecting dinners, and has never said that she would use anyone as a shield, because she doesn't need it. With Lu Chaoga's status, does she need to find a shield to reject these young masters of noble families?" Seeing Yun Chen say this, Lu Chaoga smiled elegantly and said, "Thank you, Mr. Yun Chen. If there is another opportunity in the future, I hope I can use you as a shield again." As she spoke, she had already taken Yun Chen's arm, but at this moment, "Boss Yun Chen, be careful," a cry of surprise sounded from a distance. Chapter 74. You don't eat people but you beat them. You are listening at novelfull.audio. These young men from aristocratic families at the scene have been pampered since childhood, and no matter what kind of things they encounter, everything goes smoothly. Coupled with the mindless pampering at home, he developed an unscrupulous character and arrogant and domineering habits. In front of some elders, these young men from aristocratic families may act like obedient boys, but in front of outsiders, they put on a real devilish face. In their eyes, ordinary people are nothing but lowly, mud-legged people, and they are noble masters. What's even more cruel is that the hands of these young men from aristocratic families are somewhat contaminated with human lives. Only relying on their family's heritage and huge connections allowed them to successfully escape sanctions and remain at large. This makes them even more aggressive. This madness has penetrated into their bones. It will not change just because of a few criticisms from outsiders. Just like now, the young master named Li Shuang even saw Li Mani, an official present. He was still furious and launched an offensive against Yun Chen. And it directly activates the extraordinary professional skills. Li Shuang, level 35, has the extraordinary profession of fire mage. When he saw Yun Chen, who had legs like clay, holding the jade hand of the woman he loved, the small universe exploded instantly. A staff glowing with red aura appeared in his hand. With a sudden swing, the extraordinary skill was fully activated. Fireball technique. A huge fireball with a radius of 2 meters hit Yun Chen directly. Li Shuang really likes Lu Chaoga to the point of becoming a Yandra. Photos of Lu Chaoga are everywhere in his room. Sometimes, he even ordered his model girlfriends to undergo plastic surgery to look like Lu Chaoga. Such a morbid young man from an aristocratic family would naturally not be able to calm down when he saw the woman he loved holding the arm of another man. "You mud-legged man, let me die!" With an angry roar, Li Shuang also threw a huge fireball at Yun Chen that was as powerful as a bomb. Lu Chaoga's eyes turned cold for a moment, and with a flip of his hand, he was about to summon the colorful Haotian sword, and then cut the fireball into pieces, but Yun Chen had already taken a step forward, and his long and broad arms blocked all three women, Lu Chaoga, Li Mani, and Shenling Shuang, behind him. Then under the extremely shocked eyes of everyone, bang! Yun Chen performed a handsome flying roundhouse kick and landed on the huge fireball. What's even more shocking is, the huge fireball did not explode. Instead, it was kicked back by Yun Chen like a football. Everyone at the scene was completely confused. Li Shuang screamed in despair, "No!" Boom! The huge fireball exploded on Li Shuang's body, and the blazing flames instantly enveloped him. The extraordinary players who were closer also quickly retreated and left. Li Shuang was not killed instantly. He had gained extraordinary strength. He was hit by this fireball. Although it was painful to be burned, his high blood volume did not bottom out. From this it can be inferred that his equipment should be good. In the game, the character's own skills cannot cause damage to himself, but here's the reality: if you don't dodge your own skills, you will be hurt if they hit you. Why are you still standing there? Hurry up and save Li Shuang. Zhao Yuan kicked one of his younger brothers. The boy was a water mage. He nodded quickly, took out his staff, and cast the water ball technique on Li Shuang. The flames on Li Shuang were extinguished in one fell swoop. Li Shuang was lying on the ground, got up with a ferocious face, and wanted to wave his staff to attack Yun Chen. He is unwilling to give up. Angry. It's frustrating. What an insult. Li Shuang. If you do something again, don't blame me, Dawn Guild, for arresting you in accordance with the law. Li Mani also let out a scream at this moment. Damn it, that when Li Shuang saw what Li Mani said, he immediately cursed and looked at Yun Chen with resentment, and then at Lu Chaoga, but that's all it was. Li Shuang's Taoist heart shattered with a click, because Lu Chaoga was now looking at Yun Chen's back in a daze. He didn't look at Li Shuang at all. Grass. Li Shuang is even more unhappy. I simply stopped attending this dinner party. After scolding me, I turned around and left, but unexpectedly, Yun Chen moved. His figure disappeared in the blink of an eye, and the next moment he appeared behind Li Shuang like a ghost. Li Shuang, be careful. Zhao Yuan's expression changed and he hurriedly reminded him. The other extraordinary players were even more stunned. They never dreamed that this Yun Chen would dare to take action against Li Shuang at this point in time. Although Zhao Yuan gave a reminder, it was already too late. Besides, with Li Shuang's strength, even if he were to take precautions in advance, he still wouldn't be able to stop Yun Chen's attack. Bang! Under the extremely shocked gazes of everyone, Yun Chen kicked Li Shuang on the back. Li Shuang screamed, flew out, and crashed into a tree in the green belt of the villa. Boom! This big tree also collapsed. It was enough to show how ferocious Yun Chen's kick was. Yun Chen clapped his hands and said calmly, "What I value as a person is that I will not offend others unless they offend me. If someone offends me, I will beat them up. If you hit me, I'll kick you and cancel it all." After saying that, he returned to the hall of the villa. However, at this moment, the eyes of everyone in the audience looking at Yun Chen were filled with shock and a deep fear, especially Zhao Yuan, Lu Hu, Zhang Chen and others who had conflicts with Yun Chen no longer dared to underestimate this Yun Chen. The main reason is that this Yun Chen's combat power is too outrageous. He actually kicked back Li Shuang's fireball with one kick. The key is that the fireball didn't explode. How terrifying and superb fighting skills are required to do this. At least every extraordinary player here dare not say that they can do it. Medical staff had already stepped forward and lifted Li Shuang out of the green belt, who had completely fainted. Li Mani resisted the shock, stood up, looked around seriously, and warned, once again, if anyone uses extraordinary power to attack others without permission, no matter what family you are, Dawn Guild will severely punish you. Lu Chaoga, who was on the side, had already come to Yun Chen's side with a gentle smile on his face, and said softly, "I would say that I must have a good eye for choosing dance partners." Shenling Shuang took a deep look at Yun Chen, recalling the scene when the other party protected her behind him just now. She couldn't help but feel ripples in her heart. Yun Chen ignored the sisters and went straight to a dining table to start eating. He is hungry. When passing by the group of children from aristocratic families, all of them looked panicked and moved out of the way. "Why are you panicking? I don't eat people." Yun Chen shook his head. "Everyone thinks you don't eat people, but you beat them." Chapter 75 Fatal Attack. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This guy is really brave. He's not afraid of the Feng Tianli family at all. He's not even afraid of the Lu family. Was a Lu Gao killed by him in the game? Let's not talk about whether we are afraid or not. Just talk about his kick just now. It was shocking enough. Indeed, I never dreamed that he could kick back the fireball. Many extraordinary players around him have started talking about it. Everyone looked at Yun Chen with fear and wonder in their eyes. Be wary of the opponent's strength. marvel at the other person's courage. Although everyone has obtained extraordinary power, they are not familiar enough with how to use this extraordinary power. Li Shuang is considered to be a better user, and can almost be said to be able to cast fireball instantly, but Yunchen is even more exaggerated. Without using any skills, just using physical skills, he kicked the fireball back with one kick. There was no fireball detonated midway. This means that Yun Chen's control of power has reached a very sophisticated level. That's why, the look in the eyes of some extraordinary players when they looked at Yun Chen no longer contained contempt, but was replaced by expressions of appreciation and admiration. There are so many children from aristocratic families here. The reason why they are not too cold towards Yun Chen is because they still don't understand Yun Chen's true strength. Now that they know that the other party is not simple, some children of aristocratic families will give up their hostility towards Yun Chen and turn it into appreciation instead of considering their own interests. If you can cooperate with them, it might be of great benefit to the family. As for Zhao Yuan, Lu Hu, Zhang Chen, Chen Lirong, and others who still wanted to find trouble, they all turned off the flames and gave up for the time being. Because they realized that if they rushed forward now, they would only be humiliating themselves and would not be able to defeat Yun Chen. 30 years to Hedong and 30 years to Heshi. Don't bully aristocratic families into being poor. Zhao Yuan, Lu Hu and others were thinking viciously, let this guy, Yun Chen, be arrogant for a while. When we catch up from behind, you will have a good harvest. The two mixed-race beauties standing next to Zhao Yuan and Lu Hu looked at each other, with a cold look in their eyes, immediately making an excuse. They both went to the toilet together. Originally I thought the organization had overestimated this Yun Chen, and there was no need to put him on the hit list. But now I see that I was too naive. Avril discussed with Mia using a confidential communicator in the toilet. Yes, if such a potential stock is not eliminated, it will become a big problem in the future. Mia nodded. She and Avril had the same idea from the beginning. How could a young man in his early 20s pose a threat to a huge organization? But after witnessing Yun Chen's combat performance just now, they directly agreed with the organization's wise decision to put Yun Chen on the must-kill list. If such a monster cannot be used by the organization, it will be destroyed. We must not let the Dragon Kingdom have such a monster. Send a message. Get ready to take action. Avril's beautiful eyes revealed a cold murderous intention. Prioritize the two top monsters, Yun Chen and Lu Chaoga, to be killed. At the following dinner, no one dared to cause trouble to Yun Chen. This also made the person in charge, Li Mani, breathe a sigh of relief. She was really afraid that these children from aristocratic families would be bent on making things difficult for Yun Chen. She was not worried about Yun Chen, but worried that these children of aristocratic families would be taken over by Yun Chen. But, what makes the extraordinary players around them unable to help but envy and hate is, Lu Chaoga, who was regarded as the goddess of dreams by countless children of aristocratic families, did not know what kind of evil was possessed. He held a wine glass and followed him with a smile on his face to chat with Yun Chen. Shen Lingshuang was also chirping beside her, plus Li Mani, with such three beauties with extremely good looks and aura standing next to Yun Chen. Many women from aristocratic families did not dare to go over and talk to Yun Chen. While the dinner was going on in a lively manner, no one knew that danger was coming quietly. After Mia and Avril sent the information through the special communicator, in the dark woods surrounding Phoenix Mountain Resort, figures in black robes with hidden auras and unclear faces gathered here. There were not many, just 30 people, but every figure exudes an extremely dangerous aura, and a pair of exposed eyes bursts with cold killing intent. At a glance, you can tell that these are people who have been on the battlefield for a long time, and they probably have countless lives saved in their hands. The leader was a man with a skinny body and a shape like a bamboo pole. The man's tone was cold at the moment and he spoke slowly in English. The time has come, let us send these idiots from the Dragon Kingdom to hell. The words fell, aha. 30 figures turned into black shadows, lurking on the ground, and fled towards the direction of the villa. Shadow escape. A skill mastered by the assassin profession in the game National Shelter. By shrinking one's body into the shadow, not only can one gain extremely fast movement speed, but one can also hide one's aura. The pairs of eyes hidden under the shadows are shining with bloodthirsty excitement, and excitement. danger approaches. Many extraordinary players in the villa hall did not notice it. After the banquet, everyone laughed and talked with each other and walked towards the villas outside the villa. It was so late, the Dragon State officials naturally could not let these distinguished guests rush back to the city. Instead, they arranged luxurious and comfortable accommodation for each distinguished guest. Suddenly, whoosh! A sound of breaking wind sounded extremely abruptly. Then, a scream sounded. Zhang Chen, who was flirting with his female companion, was hit directly in the neck by a flying dagger. He fell straight down. The female companion next to him was about to scream, whoosh. The second dagger suddenly attacked from the darkness. It hit the female companion's head directly. As expected, the female companion completely lost her life. Wow! The extraordinary players next to them saw this scene, their eyes widened, and they looked at this scene with shock on their faces. However, there were also some who reacted very quickly. After seeing this sudden situation, they immediately turned around and ran into the villa. Wow! 30 black figures just emerged from the jungle, pairs of eyes flashed with terrifying murderous light. They were not holding guns. Longhua had too strict control over guns, but it was okay, for this group of killers from an unknown organization, that the daggers in their hands were more useful and more deadly than guns. After all, they had obtained the corresponding extraordinary powers. The skinny man in the lead suddenly waved his hand. 30 figures rushed into the villa. Zhang Chen, who was lying on the ground pretending to be dead, opened his eyes, got up, and ran away. Zhang Chen was a warrior after all, with thick skin and flesh. With extraordinary powers, even if his neck was stabbed by a dagger, it would not be fatal. Zhang Chen thought about going out quickly to inform that there was an attack by terrorist gangsters, but he stopped after thinking about it. Maybe it wouldn't be bad to let these gangsters with extraordinary powers kill them. After all, there was a person he hated very much in it. Chapter 76 Failure. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Inside the villa, Yunchen had eaten and drank enough. There are many extraordinary players around, waiting eagerly. The banquet was actually over, but the reason they were still waiting was so that they could have a chat with the big boss Yunchen in front of them. This boss Yunchen is really informal. Yes, Yunchen's eating posture is quite bold, perhaps because of the awakening of extraordinary power. The energy required for daily maintenance of the body increased, and Yunchen's appetite also increased accordingly. In order to maintain their elegant demeanor, those children from aristocratic families all ate slowly with knives and forks. Yunchen is different, not so particular. Drink expensive red wine as a drink. Nibble on steak as bread. No need to maintain that boring demeanor at all. Everyone thought that Lu Chaoga, the proud daughter of heaven, would mind seeing Yunchen's bold attitude, but they never thought that she would stand by with a smile on her face from beginning to end, and sometimes even hand over the napkin very considerately. To Yunchen, everyone was shocked at that time, because, in that scene, Lu Chaoga looked like a gentle wife accompanying her husband to dinner. Now, Yunchen stood up, wiped his hands, and planned to leave the villa to rest, but at this moment, Yunchen's expression suddenly changed, and he suddenly pulled Lu Chaoga beside him into his arms. This. Lu Chaoga's beautiful eyes widened. She didn't expect that Yunchen would be so bold and pull her into his arms in front of so many people, but the strange thing is, I don't have any resistance in my heart. Certainly, there is no conflict if there is no conflict. After all, I am a woman. In public, you should be as reserved as you should be. So she wanted to break away from Yunchen's arms, but the next second, however, Yunchen had already violently taken her aside. Whoosh! And just like that, 3 blasts of wind rang in Lu Chaoga's ears. Puff puff puff. The 3 daggers failed and were nailed directly into the wall. Their power was no less than that of firearms. Enemy attack. Seeing this scene, the extraordinary players on the scene, no matter how stupid they were, understood what was going on. Bang! The window in the villa hall was smashed, and black figures jumped in. The skinny man who led it didn't waste any extra words. He directly ordered his subordinates in English, kill. Decisive and ruthless. Aha! 30 extraordinary strong men filled with overwhelming murderous intent came towards this group of guests. Defense. Everyone here is also a player who has gained extraordinary power. although seeing this seemed a little scared, but barely able to hold on. The mage player raised a magic shield, but, click. The level of this shield skill was obviously too low, and the opponent actually broke it with just one kick. Lu Chaoga took advantage of this moment and hurriedly left Yun Chen's arms. With a flip of his palm, the colorful Haotian sword appeared in his hand. Taking a deep breath, she suppressed the shyness in her heart, and her beautiful face regained its cool look. Shen Lingshuang on the side also took out her scepter, intending to support her sister Lu Chaoga. Just when the two sisters were about to stand up, suddenly, Yun Chen left and right, and forcefully pulled them into his arms again. Still coming. Lu Chaoga and Shen Lingshuang's pretty faces were stunned. Lu Chaoge couldn't understand why Yun Chen still pulled her into his arms. There is a strange and dangerous attack ahead. What about this time? Aha! The moment Yun Chen pulled these two beauties into his arms, he forced the two sisters to lower their heads. That is, at the moment when I lower my head, the sharp edges of two daggers passed over Yun Chen's head. This. Lu Chaoga and Shen Lingshuang were shocked. When did the enemy lurk behind the scenes? Yun Chen's expression was always cold, without any surprise. After dodging this fatal back blow, he took the two women a few steps forward before turning around to look at the real culprit of the attack. That's Mia. Avril. You actually. Everyone was shocked when they saw these two mixed-race people with fierce faces. Where is my cousin Zhao Yuan? Zhao Ru couldn't help but asked. You guess. Avril said with a smile. And my cousin is here. Lu Gao also asked. Mia said coldly, I'm sending him to hell. Do you want to go with me? As soon as these words came out, wow. The extraordinary players were completely shocked. Zhao Yuan and Lu Hu farted. Yun Chen let go of Lu Chaoga and Shen Lingshuang, looked around, narrowed his eyes, and said in a cold voice, how did you escape the Dragon Kingdom's official defense line? It turns out to be 30 extraordinary players of the assassin profession. Mia and Avril came to the side of the skinny man and said with a smile, Mr. Yun Chen, do you want to join us? I can definitely give you conditions that satisfy you. If you like beauties, then Avril and I are willing to be your partners and serve you together. Although it is not as good as the two people next to you in terms of appearance, you will be satisfied with keeping it in bed. When Yun Chen heard this, he was about to sneer and speak, but the next second, aha! A flash of white sword light like a startled wild goose came into everyone's eyes. Clang! Lu Chaoga's figure appeared behind the 30 assassins without knowing when. She was slowly putting the colorful Haotian sword in her hand into the scabbard. Kill! The 30 assassins realized it later and were about to kill the woman who suddenly approached with a dagger, but the next second, crash. The necks of the 30 assassins suddenly spurted out bright red blood like a fountain. This. The skinny man in the lead was stunned. Avril and Mia's smiles froze. All the extraordinary players were shocked. Instant kill. Lu Chaoga actually killed 30 extraordinary assassins in an instant. Hiss. The sound of sucking in cold air came one after another in the hall. Even Yun Chen was slightly surprised, but he was relieved soon. This is Lu Chaoga, the world's #1 sword god recognized in the previous life. This skill, if Yun Chen remembered correctly, was the SSS level graceful and startling, the exclusive skill of the Frost Swordsman. After using it, it turned into a white Snow White startling. And wherever it passed, all lives were killed. Looking at Lu Chaoga's expression at this time, it was terribly cold. Her beautiful phoenix eyes were full of murderous intent at this moment, staring at Mia and Avril. The two women, who were originally determined to win and had a sure victory, turned pale under Lu Chaoga's pressure. The skinny man on the side was not afraid of death. He took out a dagger and was about to kill Lu Chaoga, but before he could make a move, swish. The sword flashed, plop. The skinny man's legs were cut off like this, and the whole person fell directly to the ground. Chapter 77. Agree to everything? You are listening at novelfull.audio. What does it mean to be powerful? This is called powerful. In just the blink of an eye, Lu Chaoga, who was holding a long sword, wearing an icy blue dress, and covered in frost aura, looked like a frost queen, easily killed the 30 people with extraordinary power in front of her. The gangster was killed instantly. Not only that, the leader's legs were cut off by the opponent's sword. The reason why there is no sword to seal the throat is because there are still people left alive to ask for information. These gangsters are not simple people, all of them are assassins who have gained extraordinary power. They can perfectly evade the official security forces of the Dragon Kingdom and sneak into this villa. It is enough to show that these guys are sent by a dark organization with the intention of attacking and killing the first-tier extraordinary players of the Dragon Kingdom. It's you who just knelt down and were captured without any help. Let me personally send you on your way and give you 3 seconds to choose. At this moment, Lu Chaoga's pretty face was frosty and he was very angry. Shenling Shuang has never seen her cousin so angry. Mia and Avril looked at each other, and finally smiled miserably, and knelt down obediently, holding their heads with their arms in a gesture of surrender. The extraordinary players on the side immediately rushed up and controlled it. A dangerous attack from an unknown organization was resolved just like that. This female CEO is so strong. Yes, thank you so much. If the big boss Lu Chaoga hadn't been here, we would have had to stop eating tonight. Alas. Compared with Mr. Chaoga, we are still too weak. All the extraordinary players present were filled with emotion, recalling their performance in facing these assassins just now. They felt extremely ashamed. No way, these gangsters have obviously undergone special training, so they are more skilled in the use of extraordinary power than they are. These players, who have just gained extraordinary power, have not yet gotten used to it. Facing the compliments from these people, Lu Chaoga didn't bother to pay attention. Those beautiful long red phoenix eyes just turned and landed on Yun Chen. She wanted to explain to these extraordinary players. Lu Chaoga, I'm not very good, the really powerful one is Yun Chen. If Yun Chen hadn't saved him twice just now, I'm afraid he would have died long ago. The 3 daggers flying in front of her were not even noticeable to her. It is enough to see that the opponent's assassin used a certain skill to make all the sounds of the flying dagger disappear, making it difficult to defend against. Although Lu Chaoga is very strong, his perception is not yet very condensed. After Yun Chen saved her for the first time, he also helped her avoid the sneak attacks from Avril and Mia. If it weren't for Yun Chen, I really can't imagine the consequences. She would be stabbed into the neck by those 3 daggers first, and she would be seriously injured. Then the sudden attack by 2 foreign spies, Avril and Mia, would really kill Lu Chaoga. Certainly, and her cousin Shenling Shuang, he was also rescued. Think about this. A strange emotion emerged in Lu Chaoga's heart, who said things like heroes saving beauties are cliché. It's actually still useful, especially for a strong woman like Lu Chaoga, who has never been protected by a man. This is a very new experience. Now, Yun Chen didn't want to be too high profile, so he made a silent gesture to Lu Chaoga. He signaled the other party not to draw the attention of those extraordinary players towards him, so Lu Chaoga could only bite the bullet and accept the praise from those extraordinary players. Li Mani took a deep look at Yun Chen, and then came to Lu Chaoga. Take these 3 gangsters down and keep them under strict supervision. Be sure to find out the details of each other. Li Mani said to the official escort who rushed over. The captain in charge of security looked ashamed. There was such a big flaw in the matters he was responsible for. It was simply a major mistake, but you really can't blame him. I really didn't expect those dark organizations in foreign countries to take action so quickly. The key is that 30 extraordinary elites were dispatched. Still an assassin. As everyone knows, the extraordinary profession of assassin is best at assassination and stealth. Facing the assassin's shadow escape technique, they currently have no good defense method. Ho Xianyang, the top leader of the Dawn Guild, rushed over at this moment. He apologized sincerely to the extraordinary players present. He also stated that the Daybreak organization would provide satisfactory resource compensation to the players present. After, Ho Xianyang called Yun Chen and Lu Chaoga to the side hall again. I cannot thank you enough for your kindness. It all depends on the 2 of you to resolve tonight's matter safely. On behalf of the Dawn Guild, I would like to thank you both. At the same time, the Dawn Guild owes you a huge favor. If you need it in the future, just contact the Dawn Guild. Ho Xianyang expressed solemnly. To this, Yun Chen and Lu Chaoga were naturally happy to see the success and nodded in agreement. This is a favor given by the state official himself. don't want it for nothing. At this point, a dinner party with false alarms officially ended. Yunchen turned around and left, planning to go back to the official place and have a good rest. Mr. Yunchen. At this time, Lu Chaoga called out to Yunchen. Yunchen smiled bitterly in his heart, but had to stop, to be honest. In this life, he had too frequent contact with Lu Chaoga. In his previous life, he first came into contact with Lu Chaoga when he saw her in danger and saved her. Then they began to have some contact, but in this life, the evil demons have not yet invaded Blue Star, and the game and reality have not yet merged, but he has come into contact with her several times. Anything else? Yunchen asked. Yes. Lu Chaoga nodded slightly, and did not say anything. Instead, she came to Yunchen's side and walked side by side with Yunchen. Yunchen could not refuse, so he nodded. I want to thank you solemnly for what happened just now. If it weren't for you, Ling Shuang and I would be in danger. Lu Chaoga said with a serious expression. Yunchen waved his hand and said, it's just a small favor, don't worry about it. This is a matter of life and death. If you tell me not to worry about it, I'm afraid it's a bit too much for me, Mr. Yunchen. As he spoke, Lu Chaoga said solemnly, I will always remember your life-saving grace. Besides, the ancestral motto of my Lu family is repaying kindness with kindness. Mr. Yunchen, just ask for whatever you want. As long as my Lu family can give it, we will never be stingy. This statement is full of sincerity. Yunchen suddenly paused when he heard this, and looked up and down at this beautiful woman who was so beautiful that she could overwhelm the whole country. He chuckled and said, agree to anything I want. Lu Chaoga felt the other party's eyes constantly passing over her delicate body, her pretty face turned red, and she still bit her silver teeth and said, yes, as long as my Lu family has it, Mr. Yunchen, just ask for it. Chapter 78 Night Owl Organization. You are listening at novelfull.audio. If someone who knows Lu Chaoga sees this scene, they will be shocked, because people who are familiar with Lu Chaoga have never seen her show such a little girl's attitude. When did the domineering and cold female president blush in front of the opposite sex? Lu Chaoga also knows that she is very strange now, but, for some reason, when getting along with the man in front of her, she not only does not have any resistance in her heart, but also feels very happy, even if it is just a few words of casual chatting. Lu Chaoga feels that it will make her mood better. Is this the legendary good impression? Or, because the other party saved her life, she felt grateful to Yunchen in her heart, so it became like this? Lu Chaoga couldn't figure out whether the emotion in her heart was good impression or gratitude, but the only thing that can be confirmed is, she is definitely willing to spend more time with this man. Seeing Lu Chaoga's rather reluctant expression, Yunchen also smiled and said, it's just a joke. Don't worry, I won't make excessive demands. I'll owe you this favor first. If I need it, I'll ask you. Okay, goodbye. Looking at Yunchen's back, Lu Chaoga sighed lightly and touched his chest. He felt that he was not like himself in front of Yunchen at all. What? The operation failed. In a luxurious room, a middle-aged white man listened to the report from the phone and immediately became angry. Yes, Mr. Edson. Although the assassination team successfully infiltrated, unfortunately, they were not as skilled as others and were wiped out by the other side. The person on the other end of the phone was very calm and hoarse, and he didn't seem to be afraid of the middle-aged white man who was in a high position in the Free Federation. But you promised me before that this mission was easy, Edson asked coldly. Yes. But we underestimated that guy named Yunchen. We could have succeeded. If Yunchen hadn't been there, Lu Chaoga would have died long ago. But unfortunately. The man on the other end of the phone sounded very regretful. Originally, in his eyes, Lu Chaoga had a higher priority than Yunchen. Although Yunchen frequently received server-wide notifications in the game, he had heard that the woman named Lu Chaoga was the one who had real strength on the Dragon Country server. After knowing Lu Chaoga's record, he also felt that Lu Chaoga should be hunted first. Now it seems Yunchen should be hunted first, but it's too late to say this. Besides, even if Mia and Avril backstabbed Yunchen together, they couldn't succeed, so, as long as Yunchen was present in this raid, it was doomed to fail. Does that mean there was nothing gained, and an elite assassination team was lost? Edson couldn't accept this result, and his tone was about to go crazy. 30 extraordinary professionals. All of them are above level 30. And they have also received special combat training. Before this assassination team had carried out 5 missions, all of which were successful. 3 of them were to assassinate the heads of 3 small countries. This is enough to show that this elite team is very strong, which also means that it has taken countless efforts to train them, but all of them failed. This made Edson very uncomfortable. It's not that we didn't gain anything. We captured 2 prisoners, one named Zhao Yuan and the other named Lu Hu. Are these 2 prisoners special? Yes, one of them is the legitimate son of the Zhao family in Fengtian City, and the other is the legitimate son of the Lu family. These 2 families are great families. Then what do you plan to do with these 2 hostages? It's very simple. Our organization has obtained a rare professional extraordinary rune and successfully allowed a senior executive to transfer to the rare profession of hypnotist. Hypnotist, as the name suggests, is very good at hypnosis. At this point, you should understand what I mean, Mr. Edson. Edison listened to the hoarse voice on the phone, sighed lightly, and then said seriously, I don't care what you do, I just want that guy named Yunchen and Li Chaoga to die. These 2 will be important factors that prevent our country from dominating the world. I don't want to see them live too long. The man on the other end of the phone smiled and his attitude suddenly became cold. Mr. Edson, I know you are anxious, but don't be anxious. Since you are so anxious, why don't you find a way yourself? You. Edson didn't expect the other party's attitude to suddenly become so bad. Okay, I'm hanging up, don't worry, I will let you see the result you want. The next day, Yunchen woke up at 6 o'clock. After becoming an extraordinary professional, his physical fitness has been greatly enhanced. In the past, he needed 8 hours of sleep to replenish his energy, but now he only needs 5 or 6 hours of sleep. Yunchen didn't rush out, but directly picked up his mobile phone and browsed the game forum. What happened last night? The Dragon Country officials did not deliberately keep it secret, so there are discussion posts about this matter on the forum. Some players criticized the Dragon Kingdom officials for not being supportive, some players felt threatened, some players think that the Dragon Country officials should severely sanction that organization, but no matter what, it also made the players alert. Be careful of foreigners. Those who are not of my race must have different hearts. As a national level game, the influence is huge. For a while, those foreign bloggers on the internet were denounced and reported. Those accounts with IDs such as XXX in Dragon Country, XXX's Dragon Country Journey and so on with millions of fans were all affected. There is no way. The arrival of this game is slowly changing the world's pattern. Yunchen carefully calculated that the day after tomorrow is the day when the doomsday disaster will come. These things are all trivial matters, and at this time, Li Mani also called. Brother Yunchen, did I disturb your sleep? No, is there something? Yes, the interrogation of the group of attackers last night has revealed the results. Oh. That group of elites was trained by an organization called Night Owl. Yunchen frowned when he heard the name of this organization. It turned out to be Night Owl. In the previous life, Yunchen had a deep impression of this organization. Why? Because this organization surrendered to the evil god. It became the largest evil organization in the world at that time. Later, Yunchen remembered the boss of this organization, and he became the first general under the evil god. He had a shocking battle with Lu Chaoga. The result was that Lu Chaoga won, and Lu Chaoga completely established the title of the world's #1 sword god with this battle. I didn't expect that I would come into contact with it in advance in this life. Chapter 79 High-Grade Obsidian. Outrageous Inventory. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Brother Yunchen, why are you silent? Li Mani asked curiously when she saw Yunchen didn't answer for a long time. Yunchen finished his contemplation and smiled. I was just a little surprised. I didn't expect the Night Owl organization to be so bold that they dared to sneak into Dragon Country and assassinate extraordinary players. Humph. These dark organizations in foreign countries are indeed bold. After all, they have the Free Federation, Fuso, Scylla and other countries as their backing. How can they not be bold? Mani snorted coldly, and then said, but don't worry, brother Yunchen, our dragon country is not a vegetarian. You wait. In less than 2 days, the Night Owl organization will surely face our painful blow. Yunchen asked, what is the situation abroad now? It has begun to become chaotic. Mani replied, the major organizations have each won over a large number of extraordinary players and openly confronted the officials of various countries. Some people with ulterior motives probably don't want to see our dragon country in peace, so they let the Night Owl organization send people to interfere. But there is a bad news, that is, Zhao Yuan of the Zhao family and Lu Hu of the Lu family were captured by the Night Owl organization, and their lives and deaths are still unknown. Hearing this news, Yunchen didn't care too much. After all, Lu Hu and Zhao Yuan had nothing to do with him. Whether they were dead or alive, it didn't cause any fluctuations in his heart. Besides, these two guys were captured alive by the Night Owl organization, so he couldn't be blamed. It was because they were two idiots who liked to flirt with mixed-race beauties, and lust was a knife above their heads, so they were plotted against. By the way, our official side has compensated all the invited players. If it weren't for you, brother Yunchen, what happened last night would really be a big problem, so the head of our department also wants to ask you, do you need any resources? As long as we have it here, brother Yunchen, just ask, we can give it to you. Of course, this is just a simple thank you gift, and the favor is still reserved. Mani said with a smile. Yunchen fell into deep thought after hearing this. Now his shelter is level 15. If he wants to upgrade to level 20, he needs a lot of basic materials, for example, wood, stone, bricks, cement, steel, etc. After upgrading to level 20, the shelter will immediately expand into a new special area. Right now, the doomsday demonic disaster is about to come. Yunchen has abundant resources, so he can try to upgrade the shelter to level 20. This way, it will be more convenient for him after the demonic disaster comes. Since Sister Mani has said so, I won't be polite to your Dawnbreaker guild. I need 1000 high-level obsidian, or high-level obsidian production diagrams. Do you have them? Yunchen spoke without any psychological burden. Brother Yunchen, you are really rude. Mani chuckled and said, but you know what, the Dawn Guild really has a stock of high-level obsidian and production drawings. But I also want you to do me a favor. Yunchen smiled and said, just tell me, Sister Mani. Well, I want to apply for the production drawings of high-level obsidian to you, but I want you to provide us with some high-level obsidian as inventory for our Dawn Guild. These high-level obsidian can be used as rewards to reward members of the guild who have made outstanding contributions. The high-level obsidian production drawing was dropped by the elite monsters of the other two altars when fighting the world boss Dark Warrior. Dawn Guild immediately made the decision to purchase it at a premium, exchange it for other resources, and divide it equally among all players. No one objected at the time. After all, although the high-level obsidian production drawings are precious, you cannot make them without the raw materials, and their function is equivalent to a useless piece of white paper. Now, Mani knew that this brother Yunchen had a lot of resources in his hands. She wanted to give him this production map. In return, he had to provide a certain amount of inventory to the Dawn Guild. Of course, in addition to the production map, we will also give you a large number of infrastructure materials. Mani added a condition in time. In response, Yunchen just pondered for 2 seconds, then smiled and nodded. Okay, then I won't bother you. I will send you the production map and infrastructure materials in the game email. Mani hung up the phone. The other party's execution ability is still very good. In less than 5 minutes, the production map of high-level obsidian and a full 100,000 infrastructure materials of various types were sent to Yunchen's game mailbox. Item: high-level obsidian production map. Description: after using it, you can learn how to make high-level obsidian. Required raw materials: black crystal mine ×1, metal upgrade liquid ×1. The reason why the Dawn Guild cannot make high-level obsidian is because of the lack of black crystal mines. Metal upgrade liquid is an item that has a chance to drop when you kill wild monsters above level 30, so it is not out of stock on the market. Speaking of which, after arriving at the main city of Atlantis, the map exploration restrictions are completely lifted. You no longer need to explore each map 100% to enter the next map, the reason why players are required to explore the map 100% in the early stage is to make them as familiar with the gameplay of this game as possible. When I reached level 30 and arrived at the main city, I was out of the novice stage. I could probably understand all kinds of gameplay, so I didn't have any requirements for exploration. Although there is still stock of black crystal mines, there is still a shortage. I have to go back and dig some more. Yun Chen made a decision and immediately controlled the character to rush to the Black Crystal Mountains. Fortunately, the Black Crystal Mountains is a special map. At present, only Yun Chen is lucky enough to have explored it, and other players have not explored it, so Yun Chen is now monopolizing the Black Crystal Mine. There is nothing more to say. Yun Chen, who is level 45, kills these black crystal earthworms and black crystal scorpions in seconds. In one morning, Yun Chen looted another 5,000 black crystal mines. Wait for the resources to refresh, and continue to dig when you have time. Yun Chen left with satisfaction. He immediately began to control the character and returned to the smelting room in the shelter to make high-level obsidian. Soon, 5,000 high-level obsidian were made. Yun Chen directly sent 2,000 high-level obsidian to Li Mani via email. Li Mani immediately replied with a loving kiss emoji and wrote, "Thank you, my dear brother Yun Chen." Yun Chen ignored it directly, then he opened his inventory backpack. Wood, steel, stone, bricks, cement. The number of various basic construction materials reached an astonishing 999,999. 990,000 in inventory. If players from outside the world saw Yun Chen's inventory, they would definitely be shocked. You have to know that even the accounts of those children of noble families only have about 200,000 in inventory of basic construction materials. More is about 300,000 to 400,000, like Yun Chen's 990,000. It's really a bit outrageous. Chapter 80. What a great honor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yun Chen had sold his hoarded runes before and earned a lot of gold coins. Later, all of them were used to buy infrastructure materials. The later the shelter is, the more infrastructure materials are needed to upgrade. The infrastructure materials collected by killing monsters are no longer enough. In addition, the level of players' shelters is generally stuck at level 4. The infrastructure materials on the market are overflowing. Yun Chen bought a lot of them at a very low price. After the future disaster, the output of obsidian materials will increase, the level of players' shelters will no longer be stuck, the demand for infrastructure materials will increase, and the price will skyrocket. Yun Chen's hoarding this time is foresight. Not only that, he also dragged Tang Yen to hoard together. Tang Yen trusted Yun Chen's words 100%. She didn't have enough gold coins, but she had enough cash. She also bought a large number of infrastructure materials and held them in her hands. It's time to upgrade the shelter. Upgrade required: wood times 10,000, bricks times 10,000, steel times 10,000, cement times 10,000. From level 15 to level 19, no special metals are needed, but each basic construction material costs 40,000. And when upgrading from level 15 to level 20, the basic construction materials required are increased from 10,000 to 60,000. This means that this upgrade cost Yun Chen a full 100,000 basic construction materials. This is when Yun Chen has the title of architect and saves some construction materials. It is conceivable that in the future shelter upgrade, the amount of basic construction materials required will be exaggerated. The inventory of 990,000 is still a bit small, and I have to continue to collect. Yun Chen shook his head and immediately officially upgraded his shelter to level 20. During the upgrade process, 1,000, high-level obsidian, 1, vampire crystal, 1, imperial spirit crystal, and 1, invisible crystal, were added. The imperial spirit crystal and the invisible crystal were obtained by Yun Chen from the market in the main city that day by exchanging with other players. The imperial spirit crystal can protect the shelter from the invasion of ghost monsters. The invisible crystal can make the shelter invisible in daily life and will not be discovered by others. Ding! Congratulations, your shelter has been upgraded to level 20. Your shelter has a new special area, Nameless Island. Shelter, obsidian shelter, owned by, Yun Chen. Total area, 6,000 square meters. Seismic resistance level, level 20. Sound insulation level, level 20. Thermal insulation level, level 20. Waterproof level, level 20. Defense level, level 20. Storage level, level 20. Smelting table level, level 20. Watchtower level, level 20. Blood-sucking level, level 20. Invisibility level, level 20. Structural composition, master bedroom ×3, second bedroom ×5, bathroom ×9, living room ×3. Special expansion structure, solid steel chicken coop ×1, incubator ×1, flower fairy garden soil ×1, nameless island ×1. Special function, teleport, 20 times a day. It can be seen that after the invisible crystal takes effect, Yunchen's shelter seems to be integrated into the void, and other players from the outside world cannot see it even if they pass by, and for buildings like watchtowers, it is more convenient, because the most important thing about watchtowers is concealment. After all, the watchtower is tall and big. If a player passes by, he can see the watchtower standing there at a glance. Now that it is invisible, other players can't easily find it. Of course, the invisibility of the shelter is not very necessary for Yunchen. Why? Because in the next plan, Yunchen plans to move the shelter underground. When the demonic disaster comes in the future, everyone will choose to build their shelter underground. Only one watchtower building will be left outside to observe the enemy situation. The underground is the safest place to stay in the shelter, and at the moment when Yunchen completed the upgrade, as expected, another global notice appeared on the mobile phone screens of all players. Ding! Congratulations to Yunchen from the Dragon Country server for becoming the first player to upgrade the shelter level to level 20. All players were stunned when they saw this server-wide notice, and then smiled helplessly. Damn, this Yunchen is too unreasonable. He is not cheating. This game can't be cheated. It can only be said that this guy's luck is really too good. Alas! It's him again. And his shelter level has been upgraded to level 20, and ours is only level 4. How outrageous! All players have become accustomed to Yunchen's server-wide notices. Helplessly, they can only complain a few times. However, this is not good news for the top leaders of other countries. Currently, due to the game's Shelter for All, civil unrest has occurred frequently in various countries, and major organizations have risen. Now, the Dragon Country, which they regard as their #1 enemy, has produced a monster like Yun Chen. It would be strange if they could be happy. There are strong enemies outside and internal strife inside. This made the top leaders of various countries feel very uncomfortable, and at this moment, there is no reward for the announcement again. Yun Chen discovered that except for the first server-wide announcement with rewards, there was no reward for the rest of the server-wide announcements. But it doesn't matter. Immediately, he called Li Manny again. Sister Manny, tell Mr. Ho Xiangyang that I have something important to tell him. Let him come over to me. When Li Manny heard this, her expression was very wonderful. Brother Yunchen is really a big guy. He dared to let the head of the Department of Longhua come to talk to him, but Li Manny felt that Yunchen's face was indeed qualified, called Ho Xiangyang immediately. Ho Xiangyang heard this and said, then I'll let my deputy Li Guowei go over. I'm in a meeting now and can't leave. Li Manny said softly, Boss, are you sure? Yunchen personally asked to see you. Ho Xiangyang was silent for a while, and finally stood up in the conference room and said to the many Dragon State officials here, sorry, there is an urgent matter that I need to deal with in person. The meeting is suspended. After that, he stood up and left the conference room. If it were in normal times, a department boss like Ho Xiangyang would never delay the meeting to see an ordinary person, but, now is different from the past. Yun Chen is so special. In this era where everyone has extraordinary power, these extraordinary strongmen in the first echelon really have the terrifying power to influence the direction of a country, so even Ho Xiangyang, the head of the department, had to put aside the meeting and go to the interview in person after being named by Yun Chen. In fact, Yun Chen did not disappoint Ho Xiangyang. This young man, who was highly regarded by the Dawn Guild, stunned Ho Xiangyang with his first words. Mr. Ho, it's time to prepare the country for war. The demonic disaster will come in 2 days.